Adams. He is a hip-hop journalist and a hip-hop enthusiast, and he is an expert on all things Boston, pop culture, you name it. So I'm going to be interviewing him, and it should be a dope episode. If you like my channel, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to another episode of Who's That Girl from Roxbury, and I am here with hip-hop enthusiast and journalist Adams. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
I met you at the Roxbury Film Festival really quick when you were moderating Love Jones film.
Yeah.
So thanks for, shout out to Lisa and Allison Simmons from Rox Film, shout out to Reggie Gibson, and so I kind of like met you briefly, but I didn't really like get to talk to you. But I do follow you on Twitter, and I find you real enjoyable on Twitter.
That's nice to hear.
Because to me, I like, because I can be a little sarcastic sometimes. So I like people with like witty sarcasm. I get it. So I enjoy you on Twitter. Let's have you on because I love that you are very hip hop driven and you're very knowledgeable about Boston in general. And I love hip hop. I've always loved hip hop since I was a little girl. So when anybody's enthusiastic about hip hop and passionate about hip hop, I just love it. So I just wanted to get you on and just talk hip hop. The 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Culture,
Yeah. So I was like, let's come and talk about some hip hop. Like, at what moment did you start having that love of hip hop?
Alright, so back when I was a little kid, around like 1979, there was this tape that was circulating because we had cousins in New York. And a tape was circulating and it came to Boston, and amongst my cousins and people in the family and stuff like that. And then I went upstairs. There were these two guys, James and Derek, that live upstairs. They were like maybe between 8 and 10 years older than me, I think, at the time when I was a kid. And they always were playing tapes, so they had records. And I remember a tape being played, and it turned out to be like a jam that happened, or a battle that happened on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, 1979, going into 1979 or something like that. And what was like an early tape from 1979, and like everybody was learning the routines, and pretty much it was that. But then, like spring '79, what happened was, this song, there was a B-side, Fatback Band, it was a B-side to My Candy Sweet. It was called King Tim III, Personality Jock, started playing. And it started being played on the radio and people started buying it. And from there, I heard that. And I was just like,
blew your mind.
Oh, that's like the tape. It's like the tape I heard. And I remember rap records started coming out, sporadically, through that time. And like it didn't blow up until like around October, right around Halloween of 1979. Because Prince's second album had just come out, but Patrice Rushen's album Pizzazz was out at the same time. So I remember hearing like Haven't You Heard? I remember hearing that on repeat, and Prince's whole album. And then on the radio, they started playing Rapper's Delight. They were playing it on WILD and WRBB.
Shout out to WILD and RBB.
And then I think eventually Sonny Joe White got it, started playing on Kiss 108, and it just exploded from there. And from then on, it was a wrap for me.
You know what my moment was that like blew my mind, and I can remember as a little girl, because I had an older sister. She was a couple years older than me, but she was always like playing stuff. But I remember like as a little girl, because I grew up on Greenfield Street, right here. So I remember just hearing Roxy and Shantae, and it blew my mind. It was just like, wow, like I thought she was a superhero. I didn't, because you're a kid, your mind doesn't compute, computes things in a certain way. And I thought she was a superhero. And I was like, wow. And I just remember I was like, I want to be like that, I thought that she was fearless because UTFO had a song, Roxanne. She's coming back like this one girl against this army of dudes, and I was like, wow, and it blew my mind,
Roxanne Shante was kind of a quantum leap because she's a teenage girl. And she goes at the hottest rap group at the time. Because UTFO were super hot, and the crazy thing is about Roxanne was that Roxanne was a B-side. Like the A-side didn't catch on. The B-side, when they started playing that song took off. and it took over the world. Produced by Full Force.
Full Force.
And that song was hot for about 4 to 6 months. And when Roxanne's Revenge comes out, when Marley Marl puts that out, this young black girl goes up against about 4 dudes.
I love her.
With the hottest song out and destroys them.
It was
and
the best.
She did it off the top of her head.
Yeah, because she was going to do the laundry.
Yeah. And the story, like we heard after the fact, was that she was on her way to do laundry. Marley Marl calls down to her. It's like, hey, yo, come up. Yeah. And she came up. She did it like in one take. Just tears up these dudes as a teenager, and then she goes back to do the laundry. And she gets to dry the laundry. But the funny part about that is that what she did was she launched a wave of young disc records too, but also like young black girls rapping. Like what she did meant that Yvette Money would go with LL Cool J when he did Dear Yvette. What she did meant that like it opened the door for Supernature.
MC Light, MC Internet. But that's a female thing.
But what it opened the door for was for Supernature, which later became Salt and Pepper, to go at the hottest dudes out, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, and the Get Fresh crew, and make the show stopper.
Yes.
And so like she opened up the door for like Ice Cream Tea to do Dudes Ain't Nothing But Trouble with Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. And so she opened the door for the future MC Light, who was a teenager who made a Cram to Understand You Sam. And it's funny because MC Light, making a Cram to Understand You Sam, she was signed to Atlantic and through First Priority. And it's funny because the first rapper ever signed to that same label was a dude from Boston, MC Spice. He made a single called Don't Treat Your Girlie Like a Dog, Dog, Dog. That went nowhere. And I Cram to Understand You Saying blows up, and everybody forgot about MC Spice. So it's crazy, like all these things that she launched. And of course, the Rock started the Roxanne war because
there was like 50 million Roxannes.
Yeah, because what happened was, Full Force and UTFO were like, we need a girl. So they went and got
the real
a girl to be the real Roxanne, and then replaced her with another girl later. So there were 2 real Roxannes.
I don't remember. I didn't know that. And this is why I have her on the show, because I didn't know that.
Yeah, the first real Roxanne was a black girl, and the second real Roxanne was a Puerto Rican.
She's Puerto Rican, I didn't know that.
And she was in the video.
Okay, I didn't know. I had no idea. What was the first hip-hop album that you purchased? I know I kind of spoke to you briefly off camera, and I told you the first hip-hop album I bought with my own money was Public Enemy, the first album, and Salt and Pepper, Hot, Cool, and Vicious, and I bought it right up here. Rusty the Toe Jammer. What was it called?
Funky Fresh Records.
Funky Fresh Records. So that was the first album I bought when I was a kid, and I really didn't know what Public Enemy was talking about. I was so young, like I didn't know. I just knew it was dope. I was like, I don't know what these guys are talking about, but they're speaking some kind of language I'm relating to.
This is an interesting question because, again, I was 6 years younger than my older brother and 9 years younger than my older sister. So I was always around them when they bought their albums. So I kind of got my album secondhand from them. So my answer is completely different because I had older siblings with jobs supplying, as my supplier. So I think the first album that I suggested for my big brother to buy, probably 1986, and he was already gonna get it. So that would be Houdini's Back in Black to get. Now, what album was the first one I got with my own money?
Your money.
First album I bought was March 1991. It was Edo G and the Bulldogs, The Life of a Kid in the Ghetto.
Shout out to Edo G.
Yeah, so that was the first. That was the first album I bought with my own money.
Okay. Was the first hip hop record that inspired you music-wise?
Run DMC's self-titled album, Run DMC.
Run DMC? Okay, I'm gonna say, again, I'm gonna say Roxanne Shante, but I'm gonna say other than Roxanne Shante, the show was a big deal. Everybody was doing the show.
The show went
Fresh Good. Yeah, that was kind of like what got me into like dancing. Yeah, so I'm gonna say Dougie Fresh and Get Fresh Good. That probably got me into like dancing and wanting to like break dance and experiment with different things like that. Where do you see hip hop in the future?
As a culture, the beauty of hip hop culture is that it doesn't need corporate backing. It doesn't need corporate money. It just needs people who love the culture in order for it to thrive. So you can go to any corner of the world, whether we're talking about, Africa, whether we're talking about the Middle East, whether we're talking about, Asia, whether we're talking about any part of the world, parts of Europe, wherever you can imagine, the furthest corners of the world, hip hop culture is there. There are b-boys, there are b-girls, there are DJs, there are people rapping about their existence. There are graffiti writers. So there's always some aspect of hip hop culture everywhere, and it's only going to grow. And as the world changes, and as society changes, and as different things get enacted, different policies, people being oppressed, whether we're talking about people being uplifted, there are going to be people using hip hop as a tool in all those places. Now, if the question is, where do I see rap going in the future? I have no clue. I have no idea. The thing about rap versus hip hop culture is that hip hop, you need to be immersed in the culture and learn it, and maybe there's a mentorship program and you have to know it chapter and verse, and you learn it as you go, even if you're somebody who's been in it their whole life like me. Whereas with rap,
anybody can do it.
Almost anybody can do it. And they don't necessarily have to follow rules or a code, or they don't have to run it by anybody. When I was a kid, if you wanted to rap was the last thing in hip hop culture that we wanted to do. We wanted to be a b-boy, we wanted to be a graph writer, we wanted to be a DJ, anything. Rap was last. So the difference being is that rap, once the corporate entities got the hold of it, and also once the first rap movie started coming out in 1984, where we're talking about the mainstream ones, we're talking about Breakin', we're talking about Beat Street, Breakin' 2, all those things happened. It put the rapper out in front. So the rapper was more important than the DJ and everybody else. The DJ was always the backbone of the culture.
But DJ's the party. The DJ's everything.
Yeah, the only reason we had rappers were to hype up and talk about the DJ. You would come to the party for the DJ, and you'd get the rappers rapping about the DJ.
I ask you this question, and now that we're on this, who's your favorite DJ?
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's an impossible question, because it's not one answer.
I know, but okay.
When I was a kid, Jesus Christ, it have to be our top one. Grandmaster Flash, with Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. There was cool DJ AJ, who was down with Curtis Blow. There was, of course, Jam Master Jay, who was down with Run DMC. Then, of course, you can't not talk about the incredible DJ Jazzy Jeff.
I was just gonna say Jazzy Jeff was one of my choices.
Marvelous and Cash Money. So DJ Cash Money, also from Philly. Growing up as a kid, the biggest guys were dude who had the store down here at 74 Warren. So we're talking about Rusty the Toe Jammer, Killer DJ. We're talking about guys like, of course, DJ Def Jeff.